When are we going to wake up from this Brexit nightmare? It's like a death by 1,000 cuts, as it is. Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, he stood up there. He told us it was all going to go swimmingly. That he got us this oven-ready deal. This oven-ready as bringing the turkey out of the freezer the day before Christmas. Well, you see, they're just liars and they're cheats. They have their own agenda. It's just that us lot have to suffer it. Jump through hoops because of it. Just like Marks and Spencer's having to hire additional warehousing just to store the red tape. Well, maybe we must go on and boot the old like button. And help my sanity by pressing subscribe and maybe the little bell icon, because then you get a warm fuzzy feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. But this is getting from bad to worse, that it is. And sometimes I wonder if I can feed my dogs. If you want to support the channel, you can do it online. You can buy us a coffee, or you can still join Patreon, what have you. Now, if it wasn't so tragic, Brexit would be just absolutely hilarious. Well, tragic for the British people, because I know for a fact that people looking on Brexit, like they do, from the EU, EU member states, they point and they laugh at us. People in the US, they point and they laugh at us. I'm sure China's pointing and laughing at us, and flipping Putin is rolling around in hysterics, considering that he funded it. Well, we were promised by Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, the blonde Boris mutant variant that he is. Slime bag and a kipper. Well, he stood up there, didn't he, in Northern Ireland, and told the businesses of Northern Ireland there will be no paperwork. He also said this.
We'll be able to stop what is currently an irreversible tide of European Union regulation.
So I know it is. I'm of course. They say we have no choice but to bow down to Brussels. We say they are woefully underestimating this country and what it can do.
Well, they ain't doing a lot, is it? No. Trade is down, there's zero growth, and we are struggling, and we're suffering, and what little, GDP that we are making, our profit is much less. Because of all the extra additional fees that we have to pay, and inflation, and the cost of living crisis. So there's less tax take. The government's having to borrow more money, make more cuts. Everyone's suffering as a result. And you can blame the Labour Party as much as you like, but we need to put the blame clearly on the 14 years of Tory rule, sucking the blood out of every single institution in the United Kingdom. It would be the police force, the prisons, the NHS, social care. The list goes on. Sucked dry by the Tory party. And Labour comes in and everyone's expecting them to just flick a switch and it's all going to be rosy. No. They told you, Labour did, that they're going to have to do, be a little bit, how would you put it, ruthless. And everyone's got to suffer. I just wish it was more the flippin' rich buckets who are actually sucking us dry. I wish it was people like Boris Johnson and his father and his sisters. I wish they were all paying over the odds. Well, okay, his sister didn't push for Brexit, nor did his brother. Actually, nor did his father. But Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson, that blight on the country, did. And then you got Nigel Farage, Jacob Rees-Mogg, Dan Hann, and the list goes on. Well, we ain't going to recover from this anytime soon. That's the reality of it. But people believe Boris Johnson. He stood there with his kipper and his ice pillow, telling everybody all ridiculous EU rules. That to send this kipper in the post, you have to provide it with an ice pillow, he said. Well, it wasn't even an EU flippin' rule, it was a UK rule. He made himself look stupid, but did the people care? No, they still voted for Brexit. And why is that? Because they're clearly stupid. It's the definition of stupidity. I know people don't like me saying it. I'll say it again. I'll keep saying it. You know, we have to call it out. These people should not be anywhere near the ballot box. They should do some kind of test first. A logic test or something. Maybe just basic arithmetic. English. I can't talk. Oh. The damage that has been done by giving people the vote to vote against their own best interests. Oh, it's democracy. Some things should not be put in the hands of ordinary folk who do not understand how it works, understand the nuances of everything. Well, again, obviously the effects of everything that comes from making such a colossal decision. And now we've got this situation. Businesses can't function as they did before. They're falling to the wayside. Shops can't get what they need to get because they can't get it imported at the right price, or they can't get it at all because businesses in the EU and also transport companies are taking one look at us in the UK and saying, you're not worth the candle. You're not worth our lorry drivers sitting in Sevington for 7 days just to get paperwork pushed through. Let alone errors in import-export. In the paperwork itself. It is just a mess. And the only way we're going to ever correct this is to join the European Union once again. It ain't going to happen, though. It's going to happen. I think we're doomed. I think we're going to be saying a hell of a lot more of this. More businesses fail. Less growth. More dependency on AI because we have no choice. Because we won't have anything else to fall back on. And dodgy trade deals with countries that we should really not be having anything to do with. Human rights abusers, for instance. Companies that are quite happy to sack 800 odd people, such as DP World with P&O ferries and what have you, via text. A country should be able to set its own rules regarding trade. Especially if you've promoted flip and leave in the European Union, and now we've got less sovereignty than we had before. We're not making our own rules. We're still rule takers. All these new rules are being applied to us, against us, because we're outside. We're the third country now. Okay, we've got this so-called trade deal. But it's only free tariffs. Oh, yeah, tariffs are only free if you import anything from China. And what do we import from China? Almost everything. Of course we've got tariffs. If you didn't work out one out, there's something wrong with you. Oh, like I said before, if it wasn't so tragic, it'd be funny. It'd be funny. But it's not. Because people are suffering. Ordinary people are suffering to the point they can't get by. Suicides are up, by the way, just so you know. Toodaloo. Flippin' hell. Bang their flippin' heads together.